and welcome to another Hayley-Roxanna crafts video. This is another video on crocheting, and in this video I am going to show you how to crochet a classical granny square like this. There are many variations of granny squares, but the one I'm going to demonstrate is what I would deem to be the original granny square. This granny square is suitable for all crocheters to do, whether you're a beginner or a more experienced crocheter. The only stitches that you need to know are slip stitch, chain and the treble crochet if you are using UK terms, or the double crochet if you're using US terms. Granny squares can be made in any yarns with any sized hooks. You can make them into a variety of sizes, just depending on the number of rounds that you do. And they can be combined to make various items such as blankets, gloves, folders and cases, cardigans, jumpers. Literally anything you can think of can be made with granny squares as the base. So I am using Starcraft Special Chunky Yarn. I think the colour's fondant, yeah. Just to demonstrate how to do this granny square and a 6mm hook. But like I said, you can use any yarn, any size hook. The actual method of making the granny square is the same. So there are two ways that you can start this granny square. You can start it with a chain circle or a magic circle. I will demonstrate both. I'm going to do the chain circle first. So if we just take our yarn, make a slip knot onto our hook, like so. And then to make our chain circle, we're just going to do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And then we're just going to slip stitch into that first chain. Like so. Okay, and there we've got our circle, so we can now work into the centre of our circle. So the first round of the granny square, we are going to start with chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and that chain counts as our first treble crochet, or if you're using US terms, the double crochet. I will just keep referring to them as treble throughout using the UK terms, but just be aware if you're using US terms, that would be a double crochet. So then we're going to do 2 treble crochets into the centre of that circle. Got 1 and 2, and I like to just crochet over the tail of the yarn. Okay, so this spare tail there, I just crochet over that. That just makes life easier if you want to close the circle up afterwards, but we'll discuss that in a moment. So I've got what is essentially a 3 treble cluster there. I'm then going to do 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and we repeat the 3 trebles. 1, 2. So just a reminder, your treble is your yarn over, insert the hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. Okay, so we've done another 3 trebles there. So now we're going to do a 3 chain again. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do 3 trebles again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've now got 3 treble clusters. We'll do another 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and we do one more of the 3 treble clusters, so 3 more treble crochets.
1, 2,
3, and then we just need to do 3 more chains. 1, 2, 3, and then we can slip stitch into the top chain of the 3 chains we did at the beginning to count as the first treble crochet. So I'll just insert my hook. To do that, and that is the first round of the granny square. So as you can see, you've got 4 3 treble clusters and 4 3 chains, and those 3 chains form the corners of the square. At this point you can pull that yarn end tighter to close up the hole in the center if you want to. And then you just weave that in just to hold it closed. But that's the first round done. So now I'll repeat that first round, but this time I will start with a magic circle, just to show you the difference. It's sort of personal preference which way you start. I use both ways depending on my mood. So to do your magic circle, I just loop my yarn around 2 fingers, pop my hook between my fingers and pull through. And then we're going to do 3 chains to count as our first treble. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we do another 2 treble crochets to make our first 3 treble cluster.
1,
2, and then we're going to do 3 chain. 1, 2, 3 to form that first corner. Then 3 more treble clusters.
1, into that ring. 1, 2.
It can be a little fiddly doing it this way, and if you find you're getting close to the end of the tail of the yarn, then you can just give it a pull to start closing that circle a little bit, as long as you don't close it too much, because you need room to get the 4 treble clusters in. So we'll do another 3 chains, 2, 3, then we'll do another 3 trebles.
1, 2,
3, 3 more chains, 2, 3. So that's 3. So we've got to do 1 more set of the 3 treble cluster.
1, 2,
3, just making sure you've still got that end, because you're going to need to pull that in a second. If we do 3 more chains, 2, 3, just to form that 4th corner. And then at this point, this is where I like to close my magic circle. So you just give that yarn end a tug. Don't have to finish doing that, because sometimes it can be easy to then do your slip stitch. So we need to slip stitch into the top of that first 3 chain that formed our first treble crochet. Just get the hook to go through. I just like to go under both of those stitches and pull that through to do the slip stitch, and then you can just give it another pull and just weave that end in, just like you do on the chain circle version. So there you go, there's the first round of the granny square using a magic circle, and as you can see there isn't much difference between the magic circle version and the chain circle version. So like I said, it's up to you which one you use. So now we need to do the second round of the granny square, and before we do this I always like to turn my work so that I've now got the wrong side facing me. Okay, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch into this chain 3 that forms our corner space. Like so. Okay, then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do 2 treble crochets into that same corner space. 1, 2. Okay, we're then going to skip over those 3 trebles that form the treble cluster on that row before, and we're going to go into the next corner space and we're going to do 3 treble crochets,
1, 2,
3. Then we're going to do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do another 3 trebles into that same corner space.
1, 2,
3. Okay, and that forms another corner. Then we're going to skip those 3 trebles and move to our next corner and repeat that. So we've got 3 trebles, 3 chains, and 3 more trebles. And then we're going to do that again in the next corner. So skip those 3 trebles, 3 trebles into our next corner space,
2,
3 chains, 3 more trebles, skip those 3 trebles, and we're back to our first of our corner spaces. So we only need to do the first set of the 3 trebles, as the second set is already there from where we started. So 1, 2, 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then we just need to slip stitch into the top of those 3 chains we did at the beginning to form our first treble crochet. Like so. And then that's our second round complete on our granny square. So now we can do the third round of our granny square. This is the round where things are slightly different, and we've now got actual sides that need working into as well as corners. So again, you want to turn your work. It's best to turn your work when you're doing a granny square. You can do it without turning, but it's better to turn, as this helps to actually keep the granny square in that square shape. So again, we're going to slip stitch into that corner space like so, and do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 to count as our first treble. And then we're going to do 2 trebles into that same corner space. 1, 2. With you turning the work each time, you'll find that the odd rounds are always worked with the right side facing you, and the even rounds are worked with the wrong side facing you. It's one way to remember which way you're going on each round. So we've done our first 3 treble cluster. We're then going to skip the 3 trebles, and we're just going to do 3 trebles into this space between the 2 clusters. Okay, so we'll do 3 trebles into this space. 1,
2,
3. We're then going to skip those 3 trebles and go into our next corner, and we do our 3 trebles, three chains, and 3 more trebles into the corner space to form our corner. And then we just continue doing that all the way round. So we're working 3 trebles into the space between each of the treble clusters from the previous row, and 3 trebles, 3 chains, and 3 trebles into each of the corners. So we're back round to the beginning of that 3rd round. So we just need to do the last of the treble stitches, 3 chains, and then slip stitch into the top of my first 3 chains, like so, and then we can just keep going doing exactly the same pattern until we've got the granny square to the size that we want it to be. So if you're not keen on using the chain 3 to count as the first of the treble crochets, there is actually an alternative to this. You can do what is called a stacked double crochet, or if you're using US terms, it'd be a stacked single crochet. So I'll just show you how to do one of those. So I've got the granny square. I started with the magic circle, but it doesn't matter which version you're using it on. So again, turn your work before you start the next round. You start with the slip stitch into your corner space, like so. And then the way I do the stacked double crochet, I'm not entirely sure if this is the right way, but it works for me. I do just a single chain, like so, and then I'm going to do a double crochet into the space. So that's where you just insert your hook and pull through, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops. But then you want a stacked double crochet, because you need it taller to be the same height as a treble crochet. So if you can see the sort of 2 loops there, and what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into this 2nd loop, like so, then do the pull through of the yarn, and then we'll do a yarn over and pull through the 2 loops, like so. And there you've got a stacked double crochet, which is the same height as a treble. And then you can just continue as before. So you do your 2 treble crochets in that same chain space. Skip your 3 trebles, and then you can do your 3 trebles, chain 3 trebles into each of the corners, which I will do, and then I'll just show you how we do our slip stitch at the end. So we're back round to our first corner space. I just need to do my 3 trebles into that corner space. 1,
2,
3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that stacked double crochet, which in some ways is actually easier than trying to slip stitch into the top of the 3 chain. Okay, like so. And that's our second round done. Okay, and as you can see, it doesn't actually look any different to, trying to show you both, there we go, it's better, to the other version where you've just used the 3 chains. So again, it's just personal preference as to which method you want to use, which you find easiest and which you prefer. So a combination of different colours of yarn can be used to make the granny square more interesting. So if you want to change your colour of yarn, it's quite easy to do. You just need to fasten off the old yarn, and then we can join the new colour at a corner using a slip stitch. So I've fastened off the yarn there. Now the next row would be round 4. So you need to be working on the wrong side of your work, so we'll flip it over. And then I always move to the next corner to where I have finished working previously, just so I don't end up with a lot of yarn tails to weave in the same corner, because it can just make the corner feel a bit bulky. So then we're just going to do a simple slip stitch like so, just to join our yarn to the corner, and then we can carry on crocheting our round as we did before. So start with the 3 chain or the stacked double crochet and do 2 trebles like so. Then you skip the 3 trebles, do 3 treble in the space, skip those 3 and do 3 treble in that space, and then skip those 3 and we're to the corner where we do 3 trebles, 3 chain and 3 trebles in the corner, and just repeat the pattern all the way round. You can change colour as often or as little as you like. Colour combinations I like is either doing 1 round of each or 2 rounds of each, or you could even do 2 rounds in the one colour and then 1 round in a different colour. But you can do whatever combinations you like. So once you have made your granny square, you may find that it needs blocking to ensure that it is actually a proper square. And this is something I will demonstrate in a separate video, just if you're interested in it. Like I said at the beginning, you can make a number of granny squares and combine them to form a whole variety of items, blankets, cardigans, jumpers, etc, etc. So they're lots of fun to do. And it's quite an easy way to make something quite simple into something that can look quite spectacular. If you've got any questions about crocheting or granny squares, please feel free to pop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I'll put links to the items I've used in this video in the description. And that's it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!